Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome here to the Friar for a doubleheader between the Mooresville Spinners and your Queen City Corndogs. I'm Jonah Weintraub, happy to be bringing you tonight's game, or both of them, I should say, as the SCBL conference race is heating up. These teams are the respective 3 and 4 seeds as it stands, but this conference is as tight as a pressure chamber right now, ladies and gentlemen. Lake Norman in first place is 10 and 6. Queen City is in fourth at 9 and 8. Only a game and a half separate the top seed from the 5th seed, and this is going to be a crucial doubleheader versus the Mooresville Spinners, who are 10 and 7 on their own in conference play. Happy to be bringing you tonight's game, and starting tonight for the Corndogs is none other than number 29 Jacob Webb, making his first start of the season. And he'll be on the mound in the top of the first as number 15 number 15 Adams Fawcett, going to be leading off for the Spinners. We'll be back for the start of action momentarily.
Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare.
Top of the first inning here, and the first pitch of the game from Jacob Webb is bunted, and it'll go foul. The leadoff man is going to be number 15. And the second pitch is going to be fouled back, so a quick 0-2 count on Hensley. Hensley, a late addition to this squad for Mooresville, making his third appearance of the season. So far is 0-4 with 4 strikeouts, but getting the nod at leadoff man tonight. Mooresville enters this game off of a 3-5 loss to the Concord Athletics, who the Corndogs beat just yesterday. On Saturday. But that's going to be 1 strikeout here to start things off for Jacob Webb. And the 5th of the season for Tansley, which brings up number 6, Noah Love. Queen City 0-3 against the Spinners so far this season, but the last 2 games have been decided by 2 runs combined. And that pitch is going to be outside for ball number 1. Noah Love at the plate. Has been in this lineup for as much as any other guy on the roster, making his 16th appearance, and that one is almost accidentally hit down the line. Webb will flip it to Budnick at first, and 2 down early for the Corndogs. 3 more games, including the one later this evening against the Spinners, in store for Queen City. If they want to have a chance at ending the season series tied, they have to get all 3 of these next matchups. Tough task against the defending 2-time SCBL champs in the Spinners. But a nice start here for Jacob Webb and QC, as that pitch is going to be right down Main Street for strike number 1 against the third batter of the inning. That's number 10, Luke Holland. Holland, another guy who was a late addition to this squad and has been super productive to start things off, but goes swinging on that one for strike number 2. Holland, a sophomore from UNC Greensboro, making his 5th appearance tonight, already has 2 home runs, but that's going to be a bailout right there in the 0-2 count as Jacob Webb pegs Holland on the shoulder, and the first base runner of the night for Mooresville will get over to first. That brings up the designated hitter, number 35, Davis Turner. Davis Turner, the lefty, a staple in this lineup for the Spinners. Usually playing catcher, but tonight getting a night off. Or at least for game one he is, as that's going to be ball number 1 from Webb. Jacob Webb, much like those early batters for Mooresville, was someone who joined this Queen City squad midway through the season and has made an immediate impact. Already has 4.1 innings pitched as Bouthillette is going to gun it to second. Noah Love will get over there. And the first stolen base of the night for either side goes to the first baseman for the Spinners. Meanwhile, that was a strike at the plate, so make it a 1-1 count now. Webb, one of the heroes of that win earlier last week against Pineville, an out-of-conference game versus the Porcupines. He pitched 1.2 innings and got out of a huge jam with bases loaded and only 1 out. A momentum-shifting set of innings, or an inning and a third from Jacob Webb in that contest. And now a chance to retire the side. Davis Turner has 10 strikeouts on the season and down 1-2 in the count, and pops this one way up, but it's going to go into the forest on the left field. Count stays alive. Davis Turner has made an impact against the Corndogs this year, but in his last game went 1 of 4 against the Corndogs and had a 2 RBI single. As that pitch is going to be fouled back, Turner keeps himself alive in the count once again, battling here with Luke Holland on second. A little mishap earlier, so that was Noah Love. It was actually Luke Holland. My apologies. Nevertheless, Holland is still on second after stealing base number 1. And Jacob Webb gearing up for another chance to close out the Spinners, and that one is going to be high, snared by Bouthillette behind the plate. Good play made by the Corndogs catcher. Has started those games defending the plate, Bouthillette has, though we've seen Josh Lilly come into relief as well. And that Mason Lida, typically a position player, getting to start on the bump tonight. And that one is hit straight up, but it'll go foul, it appears. So that'll bring up a 1-1 count on Cannon Pierce, who has cooled off to start the middle of, well, I guess the second half of the season in SCBL play. Waiting for him to have one of those signature games that we saw for most of the season. Went 1 of 4 in his last contest with a base hit, and followed it up with a steal as well, as that one is going to walk the tightrope and be ruled foul. Wilson Lohr will go back to first, and the count will move to 1-2. Cannon Pierce, the lefty from UNC Asheville, has a team leading 23 hits on the season. But against the rope right now, Wilson Lohr taking a big lead over at first, leads the Corndogs in steals so far, has 11 of them, which is tied with Caleb Singleton for most on the team. So the 1-2 pitch is going to be low from Lida and bring up an even 2-2 count. Cannon Pierce batting .371 on the season. Breakout right there, looking Mason Lida punches out his first batter of the game. That sends up number 38, Tyler Cotto, the most prolific power hitter on this Corndogs roster. Though he's coming off what is undoubtedly his least effective performance of the season. Cotto on Saturday against Concord went 1 of 5 with 3 strikeouts. A rare off night for the Queen's University Royal. Transferred there from Austin P. And right now he's up 1-0 in the count with Wilson Lohr at first. And that one is hit high, far, but foul. That sends the count to 1-1. Tyler Cotto has been a bit dormant as of late, has been productive, but the home run hitting has tapered off after he started the season with 5 and 3 in the SCBL. Currently second on the Corndogs in conference home runs, though he leads them in dingers overall. And the 1-1 pitch is fouled back to make it a 1-2 count. And actually, I believe it might have been a 1-2 count already. Regardless, though, that is the mark, with Mason Lida already having 1 strikeout tonight, 1 out, and Wilson Lohr over at first. The pitch is in, and it's going to be ruled a ball, just a little bit low from Lida. Queen City desperately needs to pick up a win or two against this Spinners team, as the tag is going to be no good, not there. Wilson Lohr looked like he may have been at risk of being picked off over there at second, but the leg gets in there in time, and Wilson Lohr continues his dominance on the base path. A new team high 12 thefts on the year, and the Corndogs have their first runner in scoring position with Tyler Cotto in a 3-2 count. And that one's going to be fouled down the left field line for yet again another full count. Queen City lost by run rule, so double digits after 7 to this Mooresville. Squared off here at the Friar, then back-to-back games that were 1-run losses at Moore Park. And Tyler Cotto gets the walk right there. Something that might get overlooked with Cotto. Walks on the roster. And he picks up another one right there, which sends up his college teammate, Dylan Lewis, who has been as hot as any Corndog on the roster. Lewis went 2 of 3 over the weekend against Concord with a double and 2 walks. Has a .286 average on the season with 18 knocks. Has 2 runners on right here, and now a 1-1 count after that pitch from Lida goes right down Central Ave. That one is going to be chopped over towards third. Foley will glove it, make the running throw, and get the fielder's choice out at third. Though both runners, Cotto and Lohr, are able to advance, and now 2 in scoring position for Will Budnick.
Now batting, first baseman number 55.
Nice play made right there by Jared Foley at the hot corner. And now 2 down for Lida, looking to escape the inning without any runs ceded. Will Budnick coming off a 1 of 4 game where he had an RBI double, and the lefty goes swinging on the first pitch. 0-1 pitch coming up. The 0-1 toss will go low, evening the count at 1. And once again, Budnick looking to drive in those runs, but comes up empty. Corndogs. With 2 on base, a 1-2 count, and a chance for Lida to escape. This one is going to be outside, though, so for the time being, Will Budnick and Queen City stay alive. Will Budnick has the 3rd most hits on the Queen City roster, 20 of them on the season. Can he add one more? No, he can't. That's going to be a 2nd strikeout here in the bottom of the 1st for Mason Lida. The Corndogs strand 2, and the top of the 2nd will be right around the corner with the Spinners on top by 2. Welcome back, everyone, for the top of the 2nd inning. And the first pitch is going to be hit by Jared Foley into right center field. Handled over there by the Corndogs. Luke Harris gets under it. 1 pitch, 1 down for Jacob Webb. Had a rough start to this contest and looking to turn things around with number 10, Sam Walker, up to the plate. Walker, wearing number 10 from Concord, North Carolina, watches that one go down Central Avenue for strike number 1. Walker, another one of these guys for the Spinners that came late to the team, only has made 2 appearances so far this season, and goes digging on that one. Quick 0-2 count for Jacob Webb, who, as we mentioned, coming off his best game of the season, though. He's only pitched 4.1 innings so far. The 6'3", 200-pounder from Chesney, South Carolina, deals in the 0-2 pitch, and that's going to be low and outside for a ball. Jacob Webb, for those of you who weren't with us for the Pineville game, was put into a terrible situation and recorded no hits and 1 strikeout. Gets a strikeout right there. His 2nd of the game, 5th of the season. And much like the 1st inning, the Spinners starting off slow. Now the key is to get that 3rd out, which Webb and the Corndogs had some difficulty doing to start things off. Number 11, Adams Fawcett, getting his first look of the night and watches that one go for a ball. Adams Fawcett, the outfielder from Jonesville, South Carolina, making his 14th appearance of the conference season. And watching that one go right down the middle for strike number 1, even count coming up. Adams Fawcett, only 4 of 30 on the season in conference play. That's a 133 average as he goes swinging right there. But only 6 strikeouts. Went 0 of 1 against Queen City the last time these teams played at Moore Park. And in a 1-2 count right now, Webb deals this one in and gets his 3rd strikeout of the game. 3 up, 3 down for Jacob Webb. And a quick top of the 2nd with Queen City coming back up to bat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, bottom of the 2nd here, and the Corndogs back up to bat. Luke Harris will start things off here for Queen City. The right fielder will hit that one right towards Corndog skipper Jeff Pluto. Almost barehanded that one. We see you, coach. And a quick 0-1 count now. Mason Lyda returning to the bump after a 2-strikeout bottom of the 1st. And deals that one in right down Main Street for strike number 2. Mason Lyda, well, as we mentioned, not a frequent pitcher. In fact, has 13 games that he's played in the infield. A native of Mills River, North Carolina, where he's entering his senior year at Emory and Henry College. And trust me, ladies and gents, you'll hear that college name come up a lot tonight. This Spinners squad, almost like a development team for Emory and Henry, as the 1-2 pitch is once again thrown into the dirt. Count evens for 13, Luke Harris. And Harris is a interesting case study here. Only batting .250 on the season, but with the 4th best on-base percentage on the team. But that will lower the percentage as the 3rd strikeout from Lyda starts things off here in the bottom of the 2nd. Both pitchers with a trio of punchouts. And it seems like we might be in for another defensive battle. These two teams have combined for less than 10 runs in both of their last two meetings, with the first pitch of this at bat to Harrison Boothilette bouncing off the plate and into the lap of the catcher Bullock. Harrison Boothilette, the freshman who's heading to San Jacinto Community College, one of the most storied JUCO or CC programs in the country. The Gators churn out prospects, and Harrison Boothilette looks to be one of those in the future. Looking like one, but not on that swing, as the 1-2 count now for Boothilette, who's batting .300 on the season with the second most RBIs on the Corndogs. Went 1 of 2 in his last game, but strikes out right there. Or hold your horses, that's actually going to be a foul ball, barely grazing the bat of Boothilette. But that's enough to keep this count alive. Boothilette looking to take the second chance and run with it. And that one is going to be fouled off and hit the light post here at Charlotte Ladin. Hope the Hawks have a good electricity bill, 'cause that one might have taken out a bulb. And Boothilette this time does not make contact with it. Goes down swinging, and the fourth strikeout already for Mason Lyda. Now that sends Nathan Sammy to the plate, who is coming off a monster game against the Athletics. Sammy hit his 4th home run of the conference season in that game, and looks like he was going to try to go for another one right there, but fouls it back for strike number 1. Sammy, the co-leader in the SCBL, 4 home runs. Watches that one go outside for ball number 1. Sammy also had a double in that game, so 2 RBIs and 2 extra base hits. Not too shabby, if I have to say so myself. That one high and inside on Sammy. Make it a 2-1 mark now. Queen City dominated that game against Concord. 12-2 as this one is fouled up and back in that game. The Corndogs put up a whopping 16 hits, 5 of them being for extra bases and 2 of them coming from the man at the plate right now. But Sammy, with his back against the wall, a 2-2 count is going to be chopped at, and it'll keep him alive in the at-bat. Might have chased after that one a little, but was able to get the tip of the bat to draw contact. So, yet again, another chance for Sammy. 2 down for Lyda, and that one is blasted into right center field. It is going to be a double for Nathan Sammy, who is going to get his 3rd extra base hit in as many at-bats. The Middlebury product continues his hot stretch, and it'll bring up his former high school teammate, Dave Mossry. Mossry and Sammy played their high school ball right here at Charlotte Ladin. A little bit of nostalgia for those two, and quite familiar with the Friar. Maybe not under that name, as this is the inaugural season for the Corndogs. But Lyda deals this one in and low for ball number 1. Nathan Sammy picks up his 13th hit of the season. The junior infielder right here from Charlotte, North Carolina. Resides on second as Masri hits that one over to first, and the ground ball is picked up by Noah Love. So the Sammy double ends up with nothing for the Corndogs as they draw a blank here in the bottom of the second, and Mooresville heads back up to bat, protecting their 2-0 lead. Top of the third inning here, where the Spinners out to a 2-0 advantage. And the bottom of the order, up at bat, Garrison Bullock, the catcher, getting his first crack of the night and cracks that one straight back for a foul ball. That pitch is going to go high for Webb, who is in a pitcher's duel right now, has given up the 2 runs, but still has 3 punch-outs. Meanwhile, the other pitcher, Mason Lyda, for the Spinners, with 4 of his own. And Webb will deal this 1-1 pitch in and high for ball number 2. Garrison Bullock up at bat. Number 16 is played 1 game so far for the Spinners. Went 2 of 4 with 1 strikeout and 1 walk. And goes hunting on that one for a big hit, but comes up empty-handed. And that brings up a 2-2 count now for the Corndogs, and Jacob Webb, who deals this one in and high. A full count is on the way. Jacob Webb from Southern Wesleyan University, entering his sophomore season there. Deals this one in, and that's going to be a ball. Close call there for Webb, but Garrison Bullock will take his base. Top of the order back up here for the Spinners with Tafton Hensley, number 15. Hensley, the outfielder, goes to Western Carolina University. Has had a difficult start to his season with the Spinners. Once again, came on late to the team, and through 2 games is 0 of 4 with 4 strikeouts. Now 0 of 5 with 5 strikeouts after that first at-bat. A junior from Mooresville, playing in his backyard this summer. Down 0-1 in the count right now, and make it 1-1. Another close call for Jacob Webb, who's trying to paint the corner there. Webb had 3 strikeouts coming into tonight, already has that mark on the game. Runner on first is going to hold as that ball will go swimming, it appears. Takes a bounce off the driveway on Charlotte Ladin's gorgeous campus on a gorgeous day. You might see that we're at a new angle tonight for this game. Commentator doesn't want to be sitting in 90-degree weather with no shade. So 1-2 count for Webb. And that one's going to be high, evening things here for number 15, Tafton Hensley. It's also Disney night here at the Friar. So if you see a corn dog or 2 wearing Mickey Mouse ears, now you know why. And that one, barely a ball once again, and for the second consecutive at-bat, Jacob Webb is faced with a full count. Webb, according to manager Jeff Fluta, is a guy that loves to punch it in the strike zone. Not going to try to catch you with stuff out of it, but that one is hit straight up and going to the center fielder, Dylan Lewis, who plays all over the outfield for the Corndogs. Getting to start in the middle tonight and recording the first out of the 3rd inning. So 1 down, 1 on for the Spinners with Noah Love up at the plate. Love, a .309 batter on the season. He's only struck out 6 times in 15 games. Batting in the 3-hole tonight is the first baseman, who takes this pitch and grounds it towards the Corndog side. 0-1 pitch coming up. Noah Love coming off a game where he went 0 of 3 at Concord. That was the second leg of a doubleheader between the Spinners and the Athletics. A lot of doubleheaders in conference play. We had a whole week rained out. I guess that's what you get when you're playing an outdoor sport in the Southeast during tropical storm season. But still, the show must go on, and now we have, much like we have tonight, double headers galore. So 1-1 pitch in here from Webb is going to go low for ball number 2, Jacob Webb. Not even remotely worried about Tinsley at first. Excuse me, that's Bullock at first. Noah Love ahead in the count, 2-1, and hammers this one over to the third baseman, Nathan Sammy, unable to get the 5-4-2 double play, the 5-4-3 double play. But Tyler Cotto will get the lead runner out, and 2 down now for the Corndogs with number 10, Luke Holland, back up at bat for the second time this afternoon. Holland playing his 5th game of the season. Already has 2 doubles and 2 home runs in 4 games. An immediate contributor for this Spinners roster as that pitch is high for ball number 1. Queen City only allowed 4 hits in their win against Concord on Saturday. As that pitch is going to be ruled a strike, it appears. And the throw over to second from Harrison Bouzoulet, not there in time, so Bullock will get the steal. One pitch upcoming with 2 down in the top of the 3rd. Reminder that this is a 7-inning game as we're in doubleheader season. And the pitch is in and swung and missed. Coming up short, Luke Holland there, who's playing in right field tonight. Went 0 of 2 in his last game with a strikeout and a walk. Has 4 strikeouts through 4 games, as that's going to be ruled a ball and bring up an even 2-2 mark. Jacob Webb shakes off the pitch from Bouzoulet, knows what he wants, trying to get things to the bottom of the 3rd and deals it in, and it is ripped over to Miller St. John at short, who makes the play to Budnick at first. No runs allowed for Jacob Webb in the 3rd as we head to the bottom half of the frame with Mooresville still on top, 2-0. Welcome back for the bottom of the third and the Corndogs. Disney night here at the Friar. Wonder if we'll see a little bit of magic in one of these two games as Miller St. John gets his first look of the night. St. John last in the order for Queen City tonight. Goes swinging on that one. 2-0 count turns to 2-1 as the Gaston College product turned Lenore Rhine Bear. Hits this one straight to the glove of Evans at shortstop, and a quick line out there for Miller St. John.
Making his way to the plate for the Corndogs. Designated hitter number 12, Wilson Lord.
Wilson Lore up to bat now. Top of the order returns for the Corndogs, and Wilson Lore sporting the Mickey Mouse, maybe Minnie Mouse. I see a little bow there. And he goes swinging on that one. Strike number 1 against Mason Lyda, who has 4 strikeouts through 2 innings. A fine game on the bump so far as Lore hits that one foul towards the new first baseman in the game. That's Jeremy Green over there at first. Or excuse me, Derek Farley at first. Noah Love has moved to right field, I believe. So some early adjustments here from the Spinners. On top, 2-0 and an 0-2 count for Wilson Lore, who's only struck out 3 times on the year. An unbelievable feat for a guy that has had as many at-bats as Lore has. And watches that one go into the dirt. And Lore will make contact with that one, but hits it opposite side and a bit too opposite side as it goes into the left field woods. Wilson Lore, who plays with Jacob Webb at Southern Wesleyan, hits that one straight back to Lyda, and a quick 2 down for the Corndogs.
Left fielder number 10, Cannon Pierce.
That sends up number 10, Cannon Pierce. Pierce struck out in his first at-bat. Rare for him as he enters this game with the second best average on the roster behind Wilson Lore, the lefty. Watches that one go just outside, 4 strike for ball number 1, pardon me. Cannon Pierce, the 6-foot, 170-pounder from Matthews, North Carolina. Takes the 1-0 pitch and hits that one way up into the sky, but it's going to be handled by Aiden Evans, the shortstop. 3 up, 3 down for Queen City as we head to the 4th inning already. Mooresville up 2-0. this game has moved quite quickly, to say the least. A pitcher's duel after 2 runs allowed at the top of the first by Jacob Webb. Neither team has gotten on the board since. And Webb gets a swing and a miss out of Davis Turner with his first pitch of the 4th. Second 0 will go low and away for ball number 1. Davis Turner, the catcher from Mooresville, a local kid, has played with the program for multiple years now, and batting an impressive .351 this season as he fouls that one off down the right field line. 1-2 count now for Jacob Webb on the bump. Davis Turner, the 5'11", 190-pound lefty, actually throws righty. Down 1-2 in the count and sees this one in and high for ball number 2. Webb deals in the 2-2 pitch and a full count once again. Webb has run into a handful of these on the evening. More often than not, though, it seems like the Spinners have been the ones that came out on top. Webb drove in a run his first at-bat with a double and watches that one go down Main Street. Thought he had the walk, but instead, Jacob Webb gets his 4th K of the day.
Extra hitter number 25, Cole Jury.
Through 3 1/3 of an inning, or 2/3 now, Jacob Webb has surpassed his strikeouts total on the season. Got off to a slow start, but has picked things up here with Cole Drury at the plate, and that one is hammered foul into the left field woods. Mooresville still on top 2-0 in a 7-inning game. Every play matters a little bit more as that one is dug out into the outfield and it won't go far enough. Handled by Cannon Pierce in left. And a quick 2 down here in the top of the 4th. That sends up number 16, Aiden Evans. Evans, the outfielder from Wilmington University, a sophomore there, has gone 0 of 3 against the Corndogs the last time he played, and in his last contest versus Concord. Among the team leaders in strikeouts for the Spinners with 12 of them, and already down 0-1 in the count after hunting for that one and make it a 1-1 count. That one looked close, but Webb not going to get the benefit of the doubt. Even at Uno. That pitch is going to be just a bit low and bring up a 2-1 mark for Jacob Webb. The Corndogs so far this season are allowing 3.7 runs per contest, as that one is going to be grounded and hit off the bag itself. Sammy not going to even have a chance at that as he is safe. And an anomaly of a play right there. Aiden Evans gets the lucky hop off the third base. Sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So now number 3, Jared Foley, the third baseman, up at bat. Senior from Sparta, North Carolina. Batting .296 on the year and watching that one go right down the middle for strike number 1. Foley coming off a game that was one of his best of the season, had 2 RBIs with a double, as the base is going to be stolen by Evans right there. No contest from Boothellette behind the plate. And 1-1 count on Foley. 6'1" righty. Takes this one from Webb and hits it over to Miller St. John at shortstop, and the play made once again. The sturdy glove of St. John gets the third out of the inning for the Corndogs and sends us to the bottom of the fourth with a 2 lead still untouched. Already at the bottom of the fourth inning, and Tyler Cotto leading things off here for Queen City. Got walked the first time he was up at bat and lines this one straight to center field. Jumping catch, unable to be made. Adams Fawcett mistracked that one, took a awkward leap and just fell out of his glove. Frustrated with that one. A lucky single there for Tyler Cotto, his first base hit of the night.
Now batting center fielder number 40.
Sends up number 42, Dylan Lewis. The second of 3 Queens University Royals in this order. Cotto, Lewis, and Budnick, all college teammates. And all follow one another through the middle of this Queen City Corndogs batting order. Might as well be the Queen's Dogs. The Corgis, I guess. The Queen's Dogs for being literal. And that one is swung and missed on by Dylan Lewis. 1-1 count now on the powerful righty from Charlotte. Attended Ardrey Kell High School nearby. Familiar with South Charlotte, and this one is hit into right center field. It's going to drop, and Cotto is going to round over to third. Dylan Lewis gets tagged out at second. Had a chance to pick up 2, got a little greedy, but Cotto will advance to third nevertheless. Still, though, 1 down. Which sends up Will Budnick, who struck out his first at-bat. Dylan Lewis looked a little slow, perhaps. It's odd because he is the 4th leading steal man on this Corndogs roster. Turned it up a notch as he had to get over to second, but just couldn't do it. But the first run of the night for the Corndogs on the board, and the Lewis catastrophe ends up setting up the first tally of the evening as Tyler Cotto gets driven in home on a single from Will Budnick. Budnick's 15th RBI of the season puts the Corndogs on the board with Luke Harris stepping up. 1 down for Queen City. Or should I say for Mooresville, excuse me. Will Budnick over at first taking a pretty big lead. Not a guy that has stolen base, or at least attempted to a lot this season. with Lida finally surrendering his first run here in the fourth as Luke Harris lines that 1-2 short, and the double play is there. What a play by Aiden Evans, who tosses it over to first, and that will send us to the fifth inning. Queen City, though, draws this within one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, top of the fifth inning here between the Corndogs and the Spinners. Queen City put up one in the bottom of the fourth to draw this within one, and Jacob Webb will retake the bump for his fifth inning of work and starts things off nicely with a strike right down the middle. And we have a special guest here in the studio, I would say, if we were inside, but we're just kind of chilling out here on a lovely evening. We're joined by Corndogs do-it-all utility man, Adam Quintero. Let's get this camera going now. There we are. Oh, excuse me. So there we are. Had to fix that up. Sorry for that. And then gotta do the little. Oh, well, okay. Well, there we are. Selfie 0.5. There we are. So let's do it, as that's going to be a strike from Jacob Webb with a 3-0 count. We're doing a little bit of everything here, and there we go. So, Adam, welcome.
Yes, I'm very happy to be here. I thought I was going to come early. I've been excited to come help. I'm a big talker, so.
Well, that's exactly what we love over here, man. So, are we expecting to get on the field later, get some action?
Yes, next game. I thought I was going to be coming in sub this game, but I got some information wrong. I should be playing infield next game.
And for those of you on the broadcast, as that one is hit into just over the outfield, that's Kato making the play out there. Do it all, man, kind of like yourself. But no, for fans who haven't seen you, you're a late addition to this Corndogs roster. Just kind of describe what you bring on both sides of the ball. I think that in my opinion. You've looked quite dynamic to start off this season, and for those of you on the broadcast who haven't tuned in, what can you describe your game like?
Well, I put the ball in play a lot. I'm going to always try to get on base for you. On the defensive side, I do have my miscues. I'm going to make the spectacular, diving plays, but I get a ball right to me and I'm going to make a bad throw. But other than that, man, I'm going to put the ball in play for you. I'm going to get on base. I'm going to steal. I'm going to score some runs. And this past year, I added a new dynamic to my game. I started hitting home runs this year. I got a lot stronger, so that's a big addition that I hope to bring when I start playing some more.
Yeah, you mentioned the home runs. You had, 10 of them, right?
Yes, I had 10, yes, sir.
10 of them at Gaston College, where you won Region 10 JUCO Player of the Year, a huge accomplishment, and now you're taking your talents to App State. Not a bad place to play some ball.
Yes, sir.
So kind of what's that journey been like? Because I know you didn't start off at Gaston College, so you've been on a long path.
I've been through it, man. I spent my freshman year at the College of William and Mary. Some unfortunate mishappenings occurred, and I had to transfer, and I went to Gaston College, and that was the greatest decision ever made in my entire life. I had a pretty good year. I played all year, and I had the best time. I mean, nothing good to see. We have a couple kids on this Corndogs team, J.J. DeVos and Miller St. John, who were also on the Corndogs. They'll attest to it. It's a wonderful time, and luckily I played well enough to be able to get some more Division I scholarships, and I'll be heading off next year to App, so that's going to be great.
Yeah, well, so for those who aren't aware, the Gaston College Rhinos, very much so in their infancy as a college program and turning into a little bit of a JUCO powerhouse here in the Piedmont region. And you guys actually got to the Junior College World Series, another reason that some of y'all were late to joining the Corndogs team. So what was that experience like?
Oh, my Grand Junction, Colorado, they like to say it's the best kept secret in the world, and I totally agree with that. All the locals come through. It's almost like their Super Bowl. You get there's 10,000 fans at those games, and none of them know who you are, but they're all going to root for you, and they're all going to love you like they're your own. And they also, since it was our first year in the World Series, they really like the Rhinos, and they really love teams that in their first year have never made it before, and everyone was getting behind us, and we had big crowds and all the kids, and it's just an experience that I wish everyone could go through in their life. It's amazing.
Yeah, it sounds amazing,
Yeah.
and now your experience comes to the Queen City for the Corndogs. Kind of, you're from the North Carolina area. You went to Piedmont High School, and now you're back in the Charlotte area.
Yeah.
So kind of describe your process. How did you find your way to Queen City? Everyone has a different college summer team, and you seemed like you probably could have had a lot of options. So why Corndogs?
Well, last year I played on the Vipers. That was the Corndogs before they rebranded, and I basically told them, yeah, I'll come back next year. I want to be close to home, and I love being here. I love the energy all the coaches bring and all the players, and I know a ton of these players. I grew up playing with pretty much all of them, and it's just a really nice camaraderie and chemistry that we have together. So I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, to be honest.
Well, we love to hear that here. And so kind of keeping with that, tight conference race right now. It's I don't know if you know the exact numbers, but like 1.5 games between the number 1 and number 5 seed.
No idea.
So how important do you think this next stretch of conference games is? We got a doubleheader tonight versus the Spinners, down 0-3 in the season series, and we only get 6 games first time on the year, so you got to win the next 3 against the Spinners for the tiebreaker. And still, every single game in this conference has become a must-win.
Yep.
How does that pressure kind of affect you guys on the team? You embracing it?
We embrace it. I mean, we have to understand that every single pitch, every single out, every single hit is gonna count. Right now we're in the 5th inning. It's still 2-1. They had some defensive miscues that gave us a run, and as long as we just clean the hardest part is just cleaning everything else on the defensive side. As long as we can pick it up and throw it every chance we got, then we're gonna be fine. But sometimes those kill us, and that's usually the reason we lose a lot of games.
Yeah, so that's the outlook, the improved defense. And, the defense has looked there tonight. Looked very solid, only 2 runs allowed, both in the top of the first. And almost on the verge of getting things here to the bottom of the 5th within striking distance. But for game 2, the one that you're going to be suited up for, What should we expect tonight? How we feeling? 5 home runs?
I mean, if I could do that every game, I would love to. But I haven't played in a little while. I don't play on the weekends. I got to work. But you know, I always feel like I'm gonna catch a barrel when I get up there. You know, if I'm in a game, you're gonna see a couple barrels in the game. I know that's a fact.
Well, thanks for catching up with us. That brings us to the bottom of the 5th. Corndogs still protect the 1-run deficit, have a chance to strike in the bottom of the 5th. Adam Quintero, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Of course, and we'll be back for the bottom half of the 5th after this quick break. All right, ladies and gents, bottom of the 5th inning. Up. Actually, the scoreboard that we have says differently. Now it should say bottom of the 5th inning, which is where we're at in this contest. A defensive battle between the Corndogs and the Spinners, as these contests have tended to go. 4-5 last game, and then 3-4 the contest before, I believe. Exactly that. As Harrison Bouthelette, the first batter of the inning, going against Mason Lida, struck out his first time at the plate. And down, or at 1-1 in the count now. Let's make it 1-2. Just finished up the top of the 5th. Great interview there with Adam Quintero, and infectious personality there as the play at first is going to be made. What a nice diving stop there by number 9, Derek Farley. So 1 down as Bouthelette grounds out, and Nathan Sammy with one of 2 hits on the night for one of 3, for Queen City, heads up to the plate. Nathan Sammy. Has a double in this contest already, and quickly now 0-1 in the count on Sammy. No strange territory for either of these squads against one another. A total of 2 runs. The difference in the last 2 games. But will the Corndogs be able to avoid heartbreak once again? Well, that's to be seen. But right now, with a 2-1 count on Nathan Sammy, Mason Lida on the bump has looked superb and gets one in there for a 2-2 count. Already has 4 strikeouts on the night through 4 innings, and on the verge of potentially one again. Lida wheels, deals, fires, and that one barely reaches the area surrounding the plate. Looked a little off from Mason Lida as this moves to a full count on Nathan Sammy, batting .275 on the year, and hits that one over to Jared Foley at third. The running throw is to Farley, and 2 down here for the Spinners, who have looked superb on defense this evening. Bottom of the order now for Queen City with Dave Mosry, the second to last hitter in the order, stepping up. Mosry 0 of 1 on the night, and has had a quietly solid season for the Corndogs. Not in a disrespectful way, of course, but some of these guys have put up more home runs maybe, or maybe gotten some more flashy plays. But Mosry is the 4th best average on the team behind the big 3 of Cotto, Pierce, and Lohr, as that one's in for a 1-1 count. And he's all the way on the top 5 for most hits on the Corndogs, but sometimes he gets a little bit lost in the rotation. Doesn't have the eye-popping plays, but has been a frequent contributor for this Queen City roster all season. Now in a 1-2 hole with 2 outs, and grounds this one over to Foley. Seemingly identical play as Farley is going to be off the bag. Foley might have rushed that one a bit, and Mosry will get on base for a single. Now Miller St. John, who, with Adam Quintero, who was just on the broadcast, one of those guys that went to the Junior College World Series with Gaston College. After 2 seasons with the Rhinos, St. John taking his talents to Lenore Rhine. And if you're not familiar with Gaston College, check them out. There's an article in the New York Times, I believe, that they are a rising star of a program in the JUCO ranks. Only a handful of years existing are the Rhinos, and they're pumping out products into D1 and D2 schools. As that pitch is in the dirt, allowing Dave Mosry to get on over to second. Tying run in scoring position now. Top of the order on deck with Wilson Lohr. A potential opportunity here for the Corndogs. Let's see if Lida can shut the door. The 1-0 pitch is going to be low for ball number 2. Miller St. John batting .194 on the season, went 1 of 4 on Saturday with a double, which was his first extra base hit of the campaign. And now 3-0 in the count, an opportunity to bring up the top of the order with 2 on base. Lida. Let's see if he can get out of this, as that's going to be ball number 4. 4 pitches and a walk for Miller St. John. Gets on base for the first time tonight. And now Wilson Lohr, the leading batter in the SCBL, has 2 on base. And a quick meeting between the catcher Bullock and Lida. The Corndogs can smell blood in the water. Put up 1 in the bottom of the 4th. Desperately need this win. Desperately need every win. This SCBL conference is a 5-horse race. And the only difference right now is maybe just a horse hair. Statesville Owls currently in the lead. The Corndogs will travel to Statesville for a game tomorrow as the pitch is in and low from Lida. Wilson Lohr. Not going to go down swinging, or at least has only done it 3 times all season. We mentioned that earlier. An absurd number, but goes swinging right there as we say it. So Wilson Lohr, who has now 21 hits on the season, the lefty with the 1-1 count, watches that one go into the dirt. Cannon Pierce on deck, then Tyler Cotto, the most dangerous part of this Corndogs order. Mason Lida, though, has 2 outs and a bit of a cushion with those 2 outs at that. He deals this one in and gets a swing and a miss out of lore Mason Lyda. Now just one pitch away from bringing this to the 6th inning. Lyda, who plays in the infield more than he is on the bump, looks like a natural out there tonight. And the 2-2 pitch is a strikeout. Only the 4th of the year for Wilson Lore. Strands 2 on, and the Spinners escape the 5th with a 1-run lead heading into the top of the 6th. Leading off the top of the 6th is number 6, Noah Love for the Spinners. Limited time and outs for the Corndogs to work with. 0-3 against the Spinners so far this season. And the first pitch of the inning is going to be ruled a ball from Jacob Webb, making his first start tonight and looking pretty good. As that's going to be low for a 2-0 count. Webb with a 2-0 count gets that one, and it is going to be fair. Noah Love rounding first and retreating back. Good call right there. Is a leadoff single from Noah Love. Starts things off here in the top of the 6th. Number 9, Derek Farley, getting his first at-bat of the night. His 4th game of the season is 1 of 7 on the season, and hits this one straight up towards Nathan Sammy at third base, who makes the easy catch and gets the first out of the inning for the Dogs. One pitch, 1 out for Derek Farley. Goes to Caldwell Community College. Now Davis Turner, who has a double already tonight, and a runner on first right now in Noah Love, stepping up for his 3rd at-bat of the game. And Webb's pitch is going to be outside for ball number 1. Jacob Webb has tossed a great game here in his season debut as a starter, has made some spot relief work, joined the team midway through the season, and Love taking a huge lead over there at first, gets Webb off the mound. Webb already has 5 strikeouts tonight, came in with 3 on the season total, and deals this one in, and that is hit into center field and will be handled by Dylan Lewis. 2 down here in the top of the 6th. The Spinners have made some good contact, but the outfield and the infield for the Corndogs have made some solid plays. Our interview with Adam Quintero earlier, for those of you who weren't with us, he's talking about that the next step for the Corndogs to evolve as a team that they know they can be is to shore up some of the mishaps on defense. And the last time they played the Spinners, the Corndogs had 3 errors that really cost them the game. Still time to go in this one, but so far looking sure-handed on this side of the ball. Love is going to gun it for second. He'll get there with ease. And the throw from Bouthelette could have came from prime Yadier Molina, and it wouldn't have got there. Noah Love is already halfway down the base path by the time the pitch was even in, as the runner is now in scoring position for Cole Drury, who's at a 1-1 count, takes this one from Webb and watches it go down Main Street for strike number 2. Webb on the verge of getting his 5th consecutive scoreless inning after allowing a pair of tallies in the top of the 1st. He deals this one in and gets his 6th strikeout of the game. Jacob Webb absolutely on fire here for the Corndogs as we enter the bottom of the 6th. Mooresville still up 2-1. Corndogs got to do something now or never. Welcome back, everyone. This game has flown by. Obviously, it's a 7-inning game, so it feels a little bit faster already, but 3 runs combined by 2 squads here that are 3rd and 4th, respectively, in the SCBL. That is constantly shifting as Cannon Pierce hits one right towards our direction for a foul ball. 0-1 count on Pierce, who is 0 of 2 on the night. Cannon Pierce went 1 of 3 against Mooresville when these teams last played. That came on June 24th. A 5-4 loss from the Corndogs. And an even 1-1 count now. Cannon Pierce, who was the Week 1 Conference Player of the Week, sees that one go outside for ball number 2. Cannon Pierce, top 3 in most major categories for the Corndogs, even with his recent struggles. But that's not a struggle right there, as it is grounded past the second baseman. Walker couldn't get there in time, and a leadoff single in the bottom of the 6th for Cannon Pierce, with Tyler Cotto stepping up to the plate. Cotto got a fortunate single his last time up. It was the one that center fielder Adams Fawcett couldn't handle despite it coming right his direction. But a win's a win as Kato, who looks to be sporting a ripped pair of yellow pants looking like SpongeBob out here, has no outs and a runner on first as that pitch is outside from Mason Lyda. Both these pitchers tonight, Lyda and Webb, not typical starters for their respective squads, but throwing it like an ace. That pitch is going to be just low, the frame job from Bullock behind the plate. A noble attempt, but umpire's not going to bite. 2-0 count now on Tyler Cotto, who has the second most walks on the Corndogs roster. Once again, Lyda trying to paint the corner, but unable to do so. And that's going to be a walk on 4 pitches. Tyler Cotto gets on base for the second time tonight via the balls. And that sends up Dylan Lewis, who had a chaotic last at-bat.
Now batting, center fielder number 42, Dylan Lewis.
Dylan Lewis, when he was last up at the plate, hit one into the outfield, tried to go for second, and then got tagged out at the dish, and at second base, excuse me. And Tyler Cotto was able to advance, though, and he would be brought in, Cotto would, by a Will Budnick RBI single the next at-bat. So, all's well that ends well. So Dylan Lewis technically 0 of 1 on the night as that pitch is low for ball number 1. No outs yet, and Lyda has 2 on base after a leadoff single from Pierce and then a walk to Tyler Cotto. That's 3 walks on the night for Lyda, who also has 5 punch-outs. And once again, Lyda hitting that spot just on the outside corner of the strike zone, but not hitting it on the dot. Trying to place it perfectly as that one's going to be low, and ball number 3, the second consecutive at-bat with a 3-0 count. You wonder if Mason Lyda's feeling a little bit of fatigue. Not typically throwing this many innings is Lyda. As that one is fouled back by Dylan Lewis. Had the batter's count, went for it all. And still that brings up a 3-1 pitch from Lyda. The Corndogs in a prime position to tie or take the lead in this defensive standoff as Lewis grounds that one over to Foley, who gloves it, and the throw is not there. Dylan Lewis shows off the speed and gets an infield single to load the bases with no outs. Jared Foley made a great play over there at third, but Dylan Lewis was flying down the base path like a fighter jet. And now that will bring up a visit to the mound, Mason Lyda. Looking like his night may be over, so a pitching change to come after the break. Corndogs have the bases loaded with no outs. Down 1 here in game 1 of a doubleheader versus the Spinners. boy, oh boy, do the Corndogs have a chance to make a run right here and possibly get a run or two as well. Down 1-2 is Queen City, but with Will Budnick at the plate and 3 runners on, there are no outs, and the new pitcher Garrett Brower put into a sticky situation as Will Budnick just fouls that one off. What an agonizing foul ball from Will Budnick. Starts off the count 0-1, and that would have taken the top off of this place, even though it doesn't even have a top. So an 0-1 pitch coming up from Garrett Brower, a 6'1 righty from Huntersville, North Carolina. He deals this one in, and it's going to be low for ball number 1. Garrett Brower attends Methodist University, where he is a sophomore, making his 3rd appearance of the season. And boy, is he thrown into the fire with this one, as Will Budnick fouls off another one to the left this time, making it a 1-2 count and a chance for Brower to get the first out of the inning. And at this point for the Spinners, you just got to play this one out at a time. The 1-2 pitch is wound up and high for ball number 2. Even count now with a chance for Will Budnick once again. Mason Lyda finishes the night with 5 strikeouts and 1 earned run, as that's going to be strike number 3 from Brower. A nice start for the 160-pounder, as he pounds that one into the zone for strike number 3. So 1 down, and you got to take this slowly if you're Brower, as Luke Harris steps up to the plate, and he'll swing and tip that one back for strike number 1. That's Budnick, who just struck out his 2nd K of the night, with a single sandwiched in between those 2 strikeouts. Meanwhile, Harris is 0 of 2 on the contest, and that one is going to be outside. No play there for the Corndogs. Cannon Pierce is at 3rd, Tyler Cotto at 2nd, Dylan Lewis at 1st. And Luke Harris on the season has 9 RBIs, a .250 batter, and the 1-1 pitch is in, and Luke Harris has to play a little bit of dodgeball there. Harris has the 4th best on-base percentage of the Corndogs, despite having nowhere near the best average on the team. Testament to the fact that he's been able to be walked and has been hit by 6 pitches, the most out of any Queen City player. Tied with Dave Mosry in that category. And look at them, still both out here giving it their all today. Getting balls thrown at them by pitchers all over the place and still managing to get ready for battle, as that one is fouled back and will bring up a full count. A walk here will tie the game. And a big moment in this one, as with the bases loaded and 1 out, the Corndogs have a chance to tie or take the lead. The full count pitch is swung and missed on. 2 strikeouts and 2 at-bats for Brower, who has stepped in under terrible circumstances and whipped up a gem of an inning thus far. The Corndogs would be devastated to leave 3 on when having bases loaded with no outs, as Brower, who entered this game with 2 strikeouts, already has 2 in as many at-bats as he throws a first pitch ball to Harrison Bouthelette. That was Luke Harris's 2nd strikeout of the game. Bouthelette, meanwhile, 0 of 2 on the evening. Got his average up to 300 after going 1 of 2 against Concord with an RBI. Bouthelette thrives in these type of situations. The 2nd most RBIs out of any Corndog, with 20 of them on the season. And a ball will take its way onto the field, like a little runaway over there. So with a 2-0 count, Harrison Bouthillette loads back up and watches that one go right by his shoulder. 3-0 count once again, and the Corndogs one pitch away from tying this game, or should I say the Spinners one pitch away from letting the Corndogs tie this game. Bouthillette has the third most walks on the team with 13 of them, and hits this one straight up. Is it going to go foul or fair? And it is caught for a foul ball. Garrett Brower and the Spinners get out of the ultimate jam. Bases loaded with no outs, and the Corndogs strand all three. A devastating moment in this game for Queen City as we enter the last inning of the contest with Mooresville still on top by 1.
All right, I am down here with the big.
Top of the final inning here, or potentially the final inning. You never know in these tight games. But how did the Corndogs respond after that demoralizing finish to the bottom of the sixth? Have to get back on defense and try to stay in this one. As the first pitch to Aiden Evans is fouled back. Jacob Webb looking like he's got the nod to go the distance. Has been unstoppable, frankly, since his 2 runs allowed in the top of the first. And tosses the ball right there. 1-1 pitch upcoming. Webb gave up a pair in the first inning of this contest, and since then has held the Spinners scoreless as that one is popped up foul and caught by Will Budnick. 1 down here for the Corndogs, and Jacob Webb looking to keep this one within reach as perhaps the best opportunity they'll have all game, and they end up coming up with nothing. The 0-1 pitch is going to be fouled off and over the fence. Will Budnick made a valiant effort to go get there. Wouldn't have mattered anyway, as the hustle, worth commending, nevertheless. So make it a 0-1 count for Jacob Webb. Jared Foley, number 3, up to bat. Went 1 of 4 the last time these teams played in late June. Has no runners on and 1 out. Bats just a hair under 300. And hits this one over to St. John at short. And 2 down here in the top of the 7th. Jacob Webb just 1 pitch away from a potential complete game with only 2 runs allowed and 6 strikeouts thus far. But of course, he has to handle the last out of this inning with number 10. That's Luke Holland up at the plate. Luke Holland watches that one go down Central Avenue for strike number 1. Just 2 away from bringing us to the pivotal bottom of the 7th inning. The Corndogs have lost their last 2 to this Spinner squad, both by 1 run. Oh, how crushing it would be if that was the same case again today. But Jeff Pluto and his squad want to change their fortunes in a doubleheader on Disney night. The 1-1 pitch is right down the middle. Make it 1-2. Jacob Webb on the verge of completing his first start. The righty deals this one in, and that one was close, but it's going to be ruled a ball. Jacob Webb now with a 2-2 count on Holland. Webb, the South Carolina native, deals this one in, and it is lined down the middle. So the Spinners get a hit here in the top of the 7th with 2 outs. Luke Holland, the man on base. And that will bring up, actually, it looks like that'll bring up Jeff Pluto before any batter comes up. We saw something like this similarly in Game 1 of a doubleheader against the Copperheads. Jeff Pluto opted to take out his pitcher. He put in Will Hansen and gave up a walk-off home run after 2 runners are put on by Ashton Wolf. And Ashton Wolf is the man tasked with closing out this game, or at least potentially picking up the save, I should say. So we'll be back for Ashton Wolf and the rest of this inning after a quick intermission. take a bow. Jacob Webb, 6 2/3 of an inning pitched, only allowed 2 runs. Both came in the top of the first and struck out 6 spinners. Put the Corndogs in a position to potentially pick up their first win against Mooresville of the year. Now hands the baton to Ashton Wolf, who throws a first pitch strike with 2 outs and a runner on first. The batter now Adams Fawcett, who has a hit right there to Will Budnick, and Wolf does his job. The Corndogs do theirs, and we're headed to the bottom of the 7th inning. Do or die time for Queen City. We'll be back for that action after this quick timeout. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if the Corndogs want to get it done, it's going to happen before 3 outs hit. It's getting close to midnight here on Disney night. Can the Corndogs be the belle of the ball? 1-0 pitch is lined towards the Corndogs dugout by Nathan Sammy. Bottom 3 in the order for Queen City to start things off here. Sammy, Masri, and St. John do up this inning before the top of the order would retake the field. As that pitch is hammered into the outfield, is it going to go? No, it won't. 1 down as Nathan Sammy almost had a signature moment, and the flyout helps the Spinners get ever closer to their 4th win of the season versus the Corndogs. So Dave Masri up to bat for the 3rd time tonight. This Corndogs team averages over 8 runs per contest, yet tonight have only managed 1 through 6 1/3 of an inning. Queen City looking for anything here as Masri hits that one dead center, and the line drive will go once again to Fawcett. And with that, there are 2 quick flyouts, and the hopes of a Corndogs comeback look thin. Miller St. John is going to have to do this for Queen City. Meanwhile, what a game for Garrett Brower. Came in with the bases loaded, threw 2 strikeouts, got the final out, and the pitcher from Methodist University deals that one in for ball number 1. Brower entered this game with 5 innings pitched on the season and only 2 strikeouts. Has that total already, as that one is fouled back by St. John. Count 1-1, and Brower operates quickly over there on the mound. Wonder if that catches the Corndogs off guard. Brower has allowed 7 hits through 5 innings this season, but looks untouchable right now as that pitch is not going to be touched by Miller St. John. Went a little bit high and brings up a 2-1 toss here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Just a reminder that we'll have coverage of the second game between these two squads roughly 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one. And with a 2-2 count, it looks like that conclusion could be moments away. Brower looking to throw the dagger. He locks, loads, fires. And it's going to be low. A full count now on Miller St. John. Will the Corndogs keep this one alive, or will the Spinners secure the season series? The 3-2 pitch is in and fouled by St. John. Keeping this bat alive, and the tension in the crowd is palpable. Brower deals this one in, and a walk for Miller St. John. Gets on base via balls for the second time tonight, and the tying run is now at first. Miller St. John also had 14 stolen bases with Gaston College during his collegiate season. Something to watch out for here as Wilson Lohr, who is 1 of 3 on the night, steps up to the plate. And just as we say that, St. John is replaced. That being said, though, he's replaced by Caleb Singleton, who entered this game with a team-high 11 stolen bases. Singleton, a blazer along the base path, looking to provide some speed here. With Wilson Lohr, who struck out last time for only the 4th time all season. But we'll have to wait to see what happens as a pitching change looks to be in store. And so we'll be back for the final out of this inning after a quick break here at the Friar. Well, the closer in for the Spinners is number 32, Scout Nichols, a right-hand pitcher from Catawba College who has made 1 appearance this season with 2 strikeouts in 2/3 of an inning pitched. Nichols tasked with putting the Corndogs away, and Wilson Lohr, the man at bat. Singleton is going to go, but it won't matter as the first pitch is fouled back by Wilson Lohr, who's 1 of 3 today, an off day for his standards, considering he's batting .500 in the SCBL, over .430 on the season in total. Entered this game with 20 hits, top 3 on the roster. And the lefty with Singleton at first sees the 0-1 pitch and fouls it back once again. Nichols on the verge of giving the Spinners a season sweep of the Queen City Corndogs through 4 games. And since 6 games are played between each conference opponent, this would give them the season series win. Singleton is going to go as that pitch is high and the throw unable to be made. The tying run in scoring position. Singleton sliding into second and bringing up a 1-2 count for Wilson Lohr. Has struck out once tonight. Singleton, meanwhile, a dangerous run on the base path as we touched on earlier. Nichols deals this one in, and that's going to be outside. 2-2 count now on Wilson Lohr. Lohr only has 3 RBIs on the season because he has been leading off for so many of the Corndogs games. With a 2-2 pitch dotted in and fouled back by Lohr. Cannon Pierce is on deck. Tyler Cotto in the hole. Queen City on the ropes right now. And a quick meeting between Bullock and Bullock and Nichols at the plate. The Corndogs only strike out 5.8 times per game, but have gone down 7 times tonight via the punch-out. Nichols hoping to make it one more. 2-2 count. Singleton on second. Nichols wheels, deals, fires, and once again that one's going to be outside. So another full count. After going down 0-2, Wilson Lohr has stayed alive and is on the verge of potentially being on base. Nichols still has a chance to finish things right here, right now. Can he throw the dagger? And he will! Scout Nichols gets a strikeout on Wilson Lohr. Lohr, who has only struck out 3 times on the season, goes down swinging twice this afternoon as the Spinners secure the season series versus the Queen City Corndogs. 4-0 versus Jeff Pluta's squad. And the 3rd consecutive win in this series by 1 run. Devastating for the Corndogs, who have to make a quick turnaround as these 2 teams will face off once again in a matter of moments. 30 minutes from now, or roughly 30 minutes from now, tune in and watch Game 2 of this doubleheader. Queen City now 9-9 in SCBO play, 16-10 on the season, will look to bounce back. I'm Jonah Weintraub, and make sure to look at our Twitter and YouTube at Queen City BSB for all the updates on Game 2. Until then, relax, have a drink, and we'll be with you momentarily.